Hello, dear friends. Today we will talk about habits of rich and poor people, their differences and research examples. And so let's go. The morning habits of rich people. The main habits of rich and successful people start small. How you start the day, what power you charge it with, that's what you get throughout the day. Experts on the study of the influence of different times of day on the psychological health of people note the strongest time, morning. It is then that the whole space is filled with the strong energy of the sun, and the awakened person is full of fresh forces and fruitful ideas. Early rises. Morning rise only 3 hours before the start of work. During this time, you need to have time to do a lot, not only to wash and have breakfast, but also to meditate, take a walk, go for a morning jog, recover, analyze something about things, outline or approve plans for the day. Morning is the most important time in life for all people. For reference, there is one millionaires club in the USA, where one of the conditions for joining is a daily rise at 5 a.m. Compared to wealthy people, the poor allow themselves to sleep a lot. Thus, according to T. Corley's statistics, 44% of rich people wake up and get out of bed at 5 to 6 in the morning, and only 3% among the poor. Early awakening has a positive effect on the health of the whole body, and not only on the psyche and brain function. The one who gets up early and goes to bed late lives in rhythm with his own biological clock and the rhythms of the surrounding universe. Physical activity. The morning daily habits of wealthy people are always to exercise or run in the fresh air. It is proved that this way the body will prepare for the whole day, will be energized, will be more resilient. Most millionaires have traditional morning runs, yoga or both of these classes. Some people like to run with their dog and family. The usual breakfasts. A dense, but very healthy breakfast is an important component of the rich. The food is full of proteins and vegetable ingredients. Most millionaires believe that it is better to stock up on energy resources for breakfast and work quietly all day, having a little snack at lunch, than to overeat during the day and then struggle with sleep. And for this you need to train yourself not to eat too much at night. Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, eats exclusively healthy food for breakfast. It does not contain trans fats, chemicals, fast food. Breakfasts are always varied. For example, it can be an octopus with potatoes and poached eggs. The CEO of Popeyes, Cheryl Bachelder, likes to eat porridge from crushed wheat grains, bacon from omelets and coffee for breakfast. Richard Branson, founder of the Virgin Group Corporation, prefers a salad of any fruit and muesli. Bill Gates doesn't stick to healthy food. He can easily eat cheeseburgers for breakfast, chocolate flakes and wash everything down with Diet Coke. Singer, actor and composer Justin Timberlake always eats scrambled eggs, waffles baked from flaxseed flour, seasoned with almond oil before training in the morning. The daughter of the 45th U.S. President Trump, Ivanka, together with her family eats oatmeal porridge with any berry or fruit additives, Greek yogurt, a handful of nuts in the morning. Everything is washed down with coffee or a glass of lemon water. Twitter's CEO is Jack Dorsey, who eats 2 hard-boiled eggs and soy sauce in the morning. Communication with the family. In the morning, it is extremely necessary to pay more attention to the family. Some rich people like to cook and have breakfast with their loved ones. Others arrange morning joint runs, even small fun competitions. Still others help their children get ready for school. This is another habit that all people should adopt. Most poor people are so fixated on their problems that they even manage to have breakfast on the way to work. Solving difficult tasks. It is early in the morning that all the rich people try to throw their maximum efforts at solving priority or intractable problems. At this time, the brain is more active than ever. This method helps to move faster in solving the problem in order to stay in high spirits all day. If you solve a difficult task in the morning, the rest of the issues throughout the day will be solved much easier, more efficiently and faster. The daily habits of rich people. Here are the versatile habits of millionaires, billionaires, to which they resort daily no matter what. Many traditions or customs from the life of the rich are quite accessible to the poor so that they can embody them in their lives. It is possible not just out of idle curiosity to be interested in what habits rich people have, but also to adopt them for themselves. It is better to start doing the same as rich people today, without pushing the decision to tomorrow. At least 10 ideas per day. All rich people strive to make the most of their own mental resources. They write down all the ideas that come to their mind every day. Many successful entrepreneurs believe that they should extract at least 10 ideas from themselves a day. Then there will be plenty to choose from to adapt to the changing world. And it will be easier to rebuild and change your plans, focusing not only on external circumstances, but also on your own interests. At first, future successful businessmen wrote down as many ideas as they could. But the top bar is 10 ideas every day. Inspiration for growth. There are daily habits of rich people who are focused on growth and development. One of them is a daily 1% increase in your efficiency, financial profit, and the success of any other business that is done during the day. Read a little more books, train a little more, work, communicate with influential people, or find the best solutions to problems. TV replacement. Rich people completely replace morning TV watching with reading or listening to audiobooks. It can be professional, journalistic, or fiction. The percentage of literature directions that rich and successful people are interested in. Personal growth and spiritual development 55%. Educational methods, techniques and practices 79%. Historical literature 51%. Biographies of successful businessmen, politicians, musicians and other people 58%. News in the segment of interest 94%. Everything that brings development and self-education is useful. Everything else, detective stories, entertainment fiction and other books, are not in the interests of wealthy people. Because such people never stop gaining experience and new knowledge. Only 11% of wealthy individuals allow themselves to read entertaining books. Long lunch breaks. Millionaires are well aware that the brain and body need more time to rest than half an hour or an hour of break time. Therefore, for themselves and even their subordinates, they arrange long lunch breaks, up to 2-2.5 hours. It is in the rest of such a duration that they see productivity for further work. The ability to relax and switch. Meditation, relaxation or just a pleasant pastime is one of the favorite and useful activities of rich people. Meditative practices help them get a great boost of energy in the morning, and in the evening, to relieve stress, calm down and recover after a hard day. In addition, there are various techniques that allow you to improve memory, breathing, strengthen the immune system, bring both mental and physical health into harmony. Cost control. In order to control expenses, rich people use convenient mobile applications, or a schedule plan compiled in a diary. They use their electronic wallets and bank accounts only through a special service in their personal account, where you can set a limit on the expenditure part. To this is added the monitoring of stores where you can buy everything, the same things that are needed and what is on the market, but only at a reduced price. A lot of rich people have made a rule for themselves: if you need to withdraw money from a bank account, then this is done so that a certain amount always remains on it. More is possible, but not less. This amount can always be the same or vary. It can be a lucky number or a significant number. Rejection of small useless things. Small things can steal precious time and useful energy from us, but in return they will not lead to progress. Rich people never exchange for small things that can be excluded from their daily lives. They review their previous day every time, remove unnecessary, unproductive things from the list of tomorrow's tasks. Psychologists call this active procrastination, when the fulfillment of micro goals for the whole day creates the illusion that a lot of things have been done. But there are no fruits. Develop the necessary skills. If a millionaire needs to learn English, it means that he will immediately start doing it, sparing no time and money. The same applies to other key skills that may be needed in the work. Rich people study not from time to time, but every day. If you have given homework, it means that it is worked out daily, and not on a case-by-case basis. Saving money. It is important not only to invest money, but also to set aside an amount that can serve important purposes in the future. You can use piggy banks, or electronic money management, using a personal account of a bank account or a payment system. The rich have developed a habit of putting a certain amount of money in an envelope every day. Retention of motivation and definition of goals. To keep themselves motivated all the time, the rich use various small techniques and methods. For example, they hold anything in front of their eyes that would constantly remind them of the task at hand. They listen to songs that inspire them. Or they communicate with positive, wise people. The right goal is one that can be achieved regardless of the influence of weather, people, systems, economy, states or fortune. Such goals help to achieve the realization of the global dream day by day. Developing new habits. Using the Habit Tracker mobile application allows wealthy people to acquire new useful skills, new good habits. Scientists have tracked that the final development of one habit usually takes 20 to 30 days. You can make yourself a special table in which to mark every day the steps taken to acquire a new habit. Analysis of the past day. Without analysis, it is impossible to proceed to the next step, to start the next day. Rich people analyze their day in the evening. If they get very tired, then they get up early in the morning, and after all the morning procedures and cases they sit down at the table in their office to analyze yesterday's events and results. Other useful habits. This item provides a list of useful habits of rich people that can be useful to anyone. Having acquired new skills, you can radically change your life, build your own business, help other people with jobs, a good salary, or advice on how to start your own business. All this can be done even in conditions of economic crisis. Time is money. Successful conquerors of markets, careers, or the creators of their own business are people who have managed to learn to value themselves both money and time. This means that there is no way to do without drawing up a daily schedule. This means that you will have to limit your usual communication with relatives, friends, and work colleagues. It is important to learn how to politely refuse, and, at the same time, be able to find a minute or two for friends or their household. Social network. Those who are able to earn well and keep their business thriving spend a little time chatting on social networks. Of all millionaire Americans surveyed, 79% believe that 5 hours for the whole month is enough to chat with friends on social networks. 16% of poor people are ready to spend the same amount of time for internet communication. Maintaining the right mindset. The whole list of habits of rich people is permeated with a red thread of positive, creative mood, which could be expressed in one phrase: I'm only buying, not selling. This means that you need to build your business in such a way that customers themselves are looking for and finding you. You need to learn something for real, to do something masterfully. And so that they need you. This is the only way your skills and talents will be bought, and not you will have to obsessively advertise them to someone. Don't work for nothing. Evaluate your work fairly, the result of your work. Everything or service has its own price on the market. You need to know very well how much the finished product of your activity really costs. At the same time, it is important to take into account fluctuations in the cost of labor in the market. The value of resources, raw materials, or the efforts of employees can change dramatically in a couple of years. Clarity and clarity. The rich know what their production or other activity consists of. They initially have a list of everything that is included in the pricing of the finished product or service provided. For example, the purchase of raw materials, consumables, equipment, tools, wages for workers. Do not forget about payments to suppliers, repayment of loans, tax duties. All this and more should be taken into account in the business plan, which helps to get a great start in achieving your dreams. Rich concretizes everything everywhere, in negotiations, drafting contract clauses, organizing his activities. Everything that is unclear should be clarified. Creativity, not intelligence. Representatives of the affluent social stratum of the U.S. population are convinced that creativity are more important than a high level of intelligence in achieving financial success. Among millionaires and billionaires there were 93%, and among the poor or people with a level of income below the average, only 11%. Creative potential needs to be constantly developed. It is not enough just to have the genius of originality. Therefore, it is so important for the rich to have their favorite business and constantly develop themselves comprehensively. Trainings, trips to various seminars, conferences are favorite activities of rich and well-to-do people all over the world, not just in America. They believe that you need to improve not only your body, but also your soul, moral character. If the training is useful, then a rich person will definitely find time to go to it. After all, it's never too late to learn. Lack of fear of responsibility. Rich people know how to take responsibility, and also not be afraid to take on difficult or risky cases. Therefore, they quietly take loans in order to open a new enterprise. They are not afraid to occupy higher positions. They know how to be responsible for other people's money, material values. Helping others achieve financial success. Few rich people gloat when their colleagues have failures. They are all familiar with the unspoken laws of justice. After all, everyone understands that it is still unknown how things will turn out for him. Successful entrepreneurs and businessmen like to help the same in achieving financial success. This is expressed in material support, private loans at a small percentage, practical advice, connections, assistance with material or human resources. The value of new acquaintances. Among the rich, 68% really appreciate new contacts, acquaintances, and among the poor, only 11%. All successful entrepreneurs immediately learn one truth: dating, connections, and relationships with people in general are extremely useful and necessary to achieve success in business. Time is passing. People change, their professional growth, their connections and acquaintances. You never know when and where you will need this or that person. That's why the skill is so valued among the rich. New people like it. If there is no innate charm, you can always learn this. Communication with successful people. The importance of changing your environment is the first steps to the beginning of forming your own success. Negative energy comes from losers who are not going to change anything in their lives. It can greatly undermine the confidence and enthusiasm of those people who intend to reach a new level of achieving financial heights. All rich people know this well. That's why they choose their friends so carefully and communicate the longest with those who already have their achievements or those who at least are not discouraged, live on the positive. In addition, spending more time with successful and influential people, you can learn a lot from them, make useful acquaintances, and even find a solution to your problem. Among millionaires and billionaires, there is a high level of organization and structuring. They are cooperating around a club, a closed community, an organization. Rich people attend meetings of charitable foundations, thematic festivals, and other events where they can rotate in a circle of their own kind. They find and do not miss opportunities. The rich have developed their attentiveness and the ability to keep their nose in the wind, so much that they are always able to find excellent opportunities for the development of their business. For example, Buffett is convinced that unique opportunities lie even in paradoxes. When large companies suffer economic difficulties, this is just the time for successful investments. It requires both courage and quickness to make decisions quickly. For reference, Warren Buffett started his business by delivering newspapers and selling garbage bags. Permanent investments. To protect their own capital from inflation, all millionaires and billionaires are constantly investing their money somewhere. To do this, they choose niches of markets with low risks: precious metals, precious stones, real estate in promising developing regions, securities, stocks, bonds, those companies that regularly pay dividends, pension funds. Constant search for passive income. All rich businessmen never stop at the financial heights they have reached. They are constantly looking for sources of regular passive profit. Therefore, they rent out their mansions, manors, villas, offices, apartments, townhouses, expensive cars, yachts, private planes without fear or any embarrassment. These people constantly use various financial instruments to earn more with their help. How the habits of the rich differ from the habits of the poor. For comparison, here are some statistics for the period 2009-2010, when an American publicist, Thomas Corley, conducted his own research on the topic of which habits of rich and poor people are most fixed in their daily lives. The percentage ratio between rich and poor representatives of society is presented by categories: attitude to their own health, methods of raising children, self-organization, analytics, and task setting, and, finally, habitual everyday actions. Entrepreneur and investor, Thomas Corley, is the author of the world-famous book, The Key to Success: The Daily Habits of Rich People. He spent 5 years studying the habits of rich 233 people with an annual income of over $160,000, and poor 128 people with earnings of up to $35,000 a year people. The American writer compared what different thinking leads to, divided the rich into two categories: adventurers, and super economical. In his opinion, wealthy people have had characteristic habits and way of thinking since early childhood. And that's what he got. The poor love to feel sorry for themselves. The rich are not used to it. The poor often do unloved things. Billionaires or millionaires always start a business based on ideas or deeds that they really like. Poor people often whine and communicate with the same whiners. The poor do not allow themselves such actions. They consider them dangerous for the growth or retention of wealth. The poor are more likely to be greedy. The rich are not as stingy as it may seem at first glance. People with a low standard of living are convinced that the accumulation of wealth is a sin, that it is not good. Rich people don't feel this kind of false shame. Representatives of the poor class live by thinking, here and now, and the rich, adjust their mentality to distant prospects. Poor people are very fond of borrowing. The rich will not borrow money until they pay off the previous loan, if they have one at all. The poor themselves do not notice that they live beyond their means. Rich people know how to stop in time so as not to buy an extra watch, car or gadget. Beggarly thinking is fixated on money. The mind of a wealthy person is based on a creative idea. The poor, first of all, will compare himself with others, hence envy is generated in him. The rich will first look at their own shortcomings. Poor people spend too much time on empty entertainment. The well-to-do will benefit from everything. Instead of pointless conversations in social networks. In social networks, they will do sports better or will communicate with useful business people. The poor are afraid of change, so they are indecisive. The rich are bolder, they are not afraid of mistakes and are always ready to start all over again. Another study was conducted by American scientists from Brown University. Psychologists decided to study the topic, habits of the poor and rich. The experiment involved 50,000 families of different living standards, which amounted to 150 people. The work lasted for 5 years in a row. At first, experts studied the habits of poor people, their addictions, inclinations, and handling of money. Then they compared how rich people who achieved everything in life with their own strength and intelligence treated money in their daily lives. It turned out that they either did not have such habits at all, or actively got rid of them. Attitude to your health. Proper nutrition is not only a guarantee of health, but also physical and mental activity. Everyone knows that if you overeat or eat too heavy food, then after half an hour you will want to sleep. The body reacts instantly, realizing that it now needs to throw its energy resources to digest what is put in the stomach, and not to the normal functioning of a person. But when the food is balanced and easily digested, then after breakfast, lunch or dinner you do not want to sleep, but you want to do great things. That's why all rich people, knowing about such a simple rule, reduced their consumption of fast food dishes to 300 kilocalories or less per day. There are about 75% of them, according to T. Corley's experiment. The poor consume fast food daily for 300 kilocalories and more. The study showed that all of the subjects with a low level of income adhered to this type of diet. Sports are the simplest. Gymnastics will allow you to disperse the blood, eliminate stagnation in the joints, make the muscles and skin more elastic. When the blood circulation is not disturbed, then the head also thinks perfectly. The rich take such simple things seriously. Therefore, 76% of them are engaged in running, swimming, cycling, go to fitness clubs or gyms at least 2 times a week. While the poor neglect this wisdom, they do not find the relationship between excellent health and finding good ideas on how to get rich. Therefore, only 23% of them are engaged in sports or form maintaining physical exercises. It is also important to think about mental health. Or rather, what your head is thinking about most and what your heart is experiencing. About 60% of financially wealthy people spend about an hour a day watching TV programs. Among the poor, who watch TV as little, there were slightly less than 25%. The rest sit in front of the TV for almost the whole evening, or even until late at night, especially on weekends. Reality shows are watched by only 5% of the rich. Among the poor, about 75% of viewers fell in love with these types of programs. An approach to good parenting. 74% of rich parents teach their children how to become a successful businessman. They convey to their sons and daughters different methods of earning, show opportunities where and when exactly you can earn. And they also help to develop the same habits that once led to their financial success. Among the poor, only 1% of parents teach this. Rich and wise parents give their children a chance to earn money in practice or work for free so that young people understand where the money comes from, feel how they get it. So in 70% of cases, the children of rich Americans are busy for 10 or more hours during the week. Whereas among poor children, only 3% participate in volunteering for 10 hours per week. Among wealthy parents, 63% encourage their children to read at least 2 or more books per month with non-artistic content. The poor are not so fond of reading books, because among these adults there were only 3% of parents who carry their children into the literature of a practical and relevant direction. Correct formulation of tasks. A simple tradition, to make a schedule or a plan of affairs for a day, week, month, is known to everyone, but little practiced by the masses. All billionaires and millionaires have long accustomed themselves, or even completely fell in love with this activity. So, of the rich Americans, 67% constantly write out their goals and objectives on paper, or record their decisions and ideas in an e-book, computer, or other digital media. Of the poor citizens of the United States and even people with average incomes, only 17% use this technique. All the habits of millionaires come down to focusing on one thing. They don't waste their energy jumping from idea to idea. After the survey, 80% of all rich people surveyed focus their attention on only one goal, and 12% of low-income people. In order to always be an expert in their field, to be aware of innovations in a rapidly developing world, rich people are convinced that it is necessary to study constantly. This is the opinion of 86% of millionaires and only 5% of the poor who were surveyed. 84% of the rich firmly believe that having the right habits is necessary to get a positive result of their activities. Among the poor, there are only 4% of them. All 76% of wealthy Americans clearly understand that bad habits are the right way to lack of money and destitution. People with a lower standard of living also came to this understanding, but there were only 9% of them. The rich are constantly looking for mentors. 93%, and the poor mistakenly believe that there is nothing to teach them or they already know everything. Daily activities. The lifestyle of the rich consists of the habits of learning as much useful information as possible. These people really read a lot. And not necessarily only literature from the financial segment. Their preferences may change. The main thing is that they always warm up their interest. So, the attitude to reading in different categories of people. The love of reading is such as 86% of the rich and 26% of the poor. Those who like to spend time reading every day, from 30 minutes or more, 88% of the rich and only 2% of the poor. Mandatory listening to audiobooks on the road or in free time, 63% of the rich and only 5% of the poor. The majority of the wealthy, 81%, create a to-do list for each day. Among the poor, an extremely small number of people are engaged in this practice, only 9%. The wealthy have no time to play computer games, sit on social networks or waste precious time watching TV programs. They would rather occupy themselves with a useful occupation, a favorite thing, read a book or have an interesting time with their family. Thanks to such brief statistics, it is easy to conclude that the poor are not interested in much, or fixated on their problems and do not want to expand their horizons. A good incentive to change your life for the better, starting to adjust your own habits. That's it. Subscribe to Best Videos and click on the bell to not miss new interesting videos.